Hi everybody, my name is Afsar. I'm here to present the topic on cross-culture human resources management of India and China. Well, the module is Management in a Globalized World and the module leader is Helen Kai. Here are my colleagues who have helped me with the presentation. First, I'm going to talk about the aim of the presentation. This presentation focuses on critically evaluating the necessity of managing human resources while conducting business by handling cross-culture employee base. In order to narrow down the study, a comparative study has been done by us between India and China. The role of HRM. It is mainly of three things. First thing is the cross-culture conflicts, second thing is the employee dissatisfaction, and the third thing is the employee turnover. All these things play a very important role in the role of HRM. Hofstede's model and its application cross-culture HRM. There are several points. All these points are very important for HRM. The first point is leads to cultural differences. The second point is understanding international businesses. The third point is promotes cultural sensitivity. The fourth point is enhances international communication. The fifth point is international negotiations. Last but not the least, international management. All these 6 points play a very important role in Hofstede's model. And now I'll ask my friend to present the next slide. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Anmol and I'm here to talk about Hofstede's model and its application in cross-culture. So basically we have 6 cultural differences that can be identified. First is power distance index, which I'm going to explain to everyone of you. Individualism and collectivism, masculinity and femininity, uncertainty and avoidance index, long-term orientation and short-term orientation, and finally industry-restaurant index. So power distance index. So we can clearly see that it is the extent to which less influential employees of an institution agree and expect the power is not distributed in equal basis. So we have basically 2 degrees, one is higher and the other one is lower. So higher degree is, indexes points out the hierarchy of large established and implemented in the society, whereas the lower degree of the index indicates the employee to have a scope of question the authority and endeavor to distribute the power. So we move to the next chart. So in the chart we can clearly see that China is the higher ranking of the PDI, which is almost 80%, and that denotes society that believes in China, that believes in the inequalities among the people are acceptable, and in India, which is just maybe 77%, and in India they do not accept any sort of inequalities among any one of them. Yeah. So next slide we have individualism and collectivism. So to talk about individualism, it is an extent to which people are united and assisted in the form of teams and groups. So basically we talk about groupisms and working in a team. So in India basically people believe working individually and not doing sort of work in a team or in a combined work. So yes, so that's what we have explained it here. So they only care about the deregulation at the most. So like we can say making a group or making a good relationship with your family members, relatives, cousins, and etc. So friends, so we can take that as a group or a team. So they do not like make the life so social. So that's what it says in the chart. So next we have the main chart, which I'll be talking about China and India, of course. So it is clearly said that India, with a rather, it has just like around 48% where people believe in working individually, whereas in China, yes, of course, China is a highly collectivism culture where people act as the interest of a group and not necessarily for themselves. So yes, so that is all the chart about the individualism and collectivism. Now my friend Rahul will take the next slides. Thank you.
Hi friends, I'm Rahul. I'll be discussing to you about the two important topics of Hofstede's model. First of all, we'll be discussing about masculinity and femininity. In masculinity, what happens is anything which prefers to a society of heroism, making achievements, assertiveness, material gains and rewards. That basically refers to masculinity. When it comes to femininity, it refers to a sense of modesty, cooperation, caring for the needy. Anything which refers to female version of overall stuff is known as femininity, whereas anything which refers to male version of the society, it can be said as masculinity. Yeah, here we'll be discussing about various factors of masculinity and femininity in the countries which we are comparing. First of all, let's talk about India. India scores 56% on this dimension, and thus it refers to 56% of masculine society, which means that in India India has a higher grade of masculine society. We can also predict from this thing that society in India is quite male dominating, as we can see the scores for India in this is 56. Now when we talk about China, the scores for China is 66. As you can see in the charts as well, the charts of India and China, this chart is quite higher as compared to the Chinese chart is quite higher as compared to the Indian one. We can also the scores 66 tells us that it is a feminine society, and thus we can predict from this that in China we have more female dominating society obviously as compared to India, but yes, when it comes to the overall scenario as well. So in China, females are much dominating as compared to males in India as well, which we can predict from these charts and the data which we have come across while analyzing it. Now we'll be talking about uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance refers to the extent to which a society is tolerant towards ambiguity that comes up in life or work, which means that we need to take care of various risks which we come across while we are working or while we are in the society. Extent to which people accept or avoid contingent and unexpected situations. In this case, we come across according to this particular statement, we mean that we come across various unexpected situations. So we are talking about how we accept them in our life, society, or our businesses. A high degree in this index demonstrates that the society is strictly restricted to stiff codes of rules, laws and guidelines, and people simply follow them without making risks, which means that how adaptable a society is when it comes to when it comes to the laws and guidelines in a particular country and the level of risk involved in that. Now here we come across various stats which shows the uncertainty avoidance in India and China. This stat is for India and this one is for China. In India, uncertainty avoidance is quite high. In India, the scores given to uncertainty avoidance is 40, whereas in China, the scores given to uncertainty avoidance is 30, which means that very low preference very low preference is given to uncertainty avoidance in India, and we can also say that there is high level of uncertainty avoidance. In India, there is acceptance of imperfection. Nothing has to be perfect, nor has to go exactly as per the plans. We can say that in India there is higher amount of skilled labor as compared to, of course, as compared to China, but yes, and which further leads to the higher level of imperfection, and thus there are various problems which occur, such as delays in plans or various such problems. In China, the scores given to this uncertainty avoidance is 30. So, which means that we can say that there is low score. Of course, it's a low score to the uncertainty avoidance as compared to India. But truth may be relative, though, that in the immediate social circles there is concern for truth, for the capital T and rules, but not necessarily laws abound. This means that in China there is a high preference given high preference is given to uncertainty avoidance as compared to India. Yes, but there are various things which they come across day by day and try to make them perfect. That's it. Thank you.
Next.
Alright, now I'll be talking about the long-term and short-term orientation. It refers to the alignment that a society intends to draw between the past and the present or future challenges or activities. Lower degree showcase short-term orientation, thereby pointing out that people of such a society honors and attempts to follow traditional while they value commitment, persistence, and steadfastness. Higher degree display long-term orientation, thereby viewing circumstantial adaptation and problem-solving to be the utmost necessity. I'll continue with the long-term and short-term orientation. India has scored 51 on this dimension, which is here, and China has scored 87 in this dimension, which is here. For India, the concept of karma dominates the religious and philosophical thoughts. As for China, in societies with a pragmatic orientation, people believe that the truth depends very much on situation, context, and time. Now I'll talk about indulgence vs restraints. Indulgence is the extent to which a society permits the free gratification and fulfillment of simple joys, desire, and urges. Restraint refers to the restriction that a society imposes over display or fulfillment of urges, needs, desires, and joys of humans. This is the continuation for indulgence versus restraints. India has a low score of 26 in this dimension, which means that it is a culture of restraint. Societies with a low score in this dimension have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. As for China, China is a restrained society, as can be seen at its low score of 24 in this dimension. Society with a low score in this dimension have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. Next, I'll pass it to Akash.
Hi. I will talk about cross-culture HRMs in India, cooperative strategies. Although Indian employees find themselves comfortable in groups, but they also like to work as individuals. They prefer working in individuals because they feel the risk situations are less over there. Next, I will talk about cross-culture HRM in China, about cooperative strategies. Chinese people like to work in groups, and they prefer to be cooperative with each other, so to avoid risk situation and reduce responsibilities. Their value system prefer duty to the group and harmony among its group members for achieving personal goals. Cross-culture HRM in India, conflict management. Managers in India are to be preferred first, and Chinese and Indian people, the managers lag between is the language barrier they have. So there are several misunderstandings between the managers. Moreover, Indian employees never say no to their managers because it results in question of frustration and annoyance. Next, I will talk about conflict in management, cross-culture HRM in China. Use indirect ways to avoid and open conflicts. Prefer to use authority and suppress it or settle things in private. That's their way to work with the managers as employees work with the managers. Resolve conflicts through negotiations and compromise. Next would be cross-culture HRM in India, decision making. In India, Indian managers are labeled to be at a higher position than the all levels of managers. Mid-level and senior Indian managers favor team-based and collective decisions. Manufacturing companies in automobile industry, Williams in 2009 said it was concluded that the pay decisions lean more towards seniority levels in India. The next would be cross-culture HRM in China, decision making. Lack the adventurous spirit and the sense of risk. They do not make intense, immediate decisions. Make competitive and safer, less decision making. Final decisions are taken in groups by collective consulting each other. Chinese employees seldom have the chance to participate in the decision making process. Next, I will pass it to my friend. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I will be talking about the cross-culture HRM in India, work group and characteristics. As you can see that Indian managers consider therefore the significance in the social society and their role. The relationship in handling the human resources in their organization. That means that they are more towards their organization and they try to preserve it by maintaining the social relationship with everyone. Values, customs and behaviors of Indian culture dominant human resource practices followed in India. We can always say that the follows by the customs, values and beliefs of Indian people are really very good. They try and relate everything and anything within the business towards those things. Next I will talk about the cross-culture HR in China, work group characteristics. Chinese people try and spend time in developing and maintaining gongsi during this process of interaction. They try and maintaining as much as the privacy and stuff with themselves while they are having any kind of conversation in business decision-making managers. They focus more efforts on building social and interpersonal relations before entering into business and conceptual relationships. They try and develop the relations of themselves with other people and the other businesses before entering into any kind of relationships because they want their relations to be better and better day by day. Higher confidence within in-group members than out-group members. That means that in-group people have very high confidence rather than the people having the out-group confidence. Now we can talk about the motivation systems about cross-culture HRM in India. More preference is given to the academic qualifications. As we know that Indian society is mainly dominated due to the qualifications which they have. Indians do think that the higher the qualification is, the higher the value they have. And talking about the experience attained by an employee by fixing the remuneration. If there is something conflict or some kind of problems going in the business, employees get a high respect if he and she tries and doing it better. Respect given to senior employees and affection given to the interns and freshers acts as motivational strategy. There is a high amount of respect given to anyone who is elder in your business. They try and greet them with namaste or any kind of greetings which they could. Interns and the new freshers are given highly motivational speech and they try and boost them because they want everything to be done very nicely. Family package based facilities provided to experienced employees and seem to motivate them because they realize the organization concerns toward their families. Every business firm and they try and do it because of their family. They push their families and they try and do everything best they could. They're given incentives and they give every kind of those things to push their family because they think by treating their family, they are treating the business itself. Now we were talking about the cross-culture HRM in China and its motivational system. That means that what Chinese people are trying to motivate their employees are here. Chinese believe that the sense of belonging to the group and devotion to the group are very important. They think that the person who is very dominating and who is devoted to its group and its working, it's really given high importance. As they believe that by doing so, they would encourage the confidence of that worker particularly. Success is mainly based on group work. They also believe that the success to any key to success is group work. You cannot achieve your targets if you are not working into a group work. Group work in China is given highly very importance. They believe everything is only group work. One cannot claim the reward for oneself. That means that if you are winning something, you can't keep that win to yourself. You have to share with everyone. This point, we can say that Chinese people believe in sharing everything, even their happiness, their sorrows, their loss or their profit. They really want to share everything with everyone. The success or the failure, you should not keep it with yourself, you should always share with it. More attention given to the work experience and academic qualifications of employees while negotiating on salaries. Yeah, if you go for an interview in China, they will see your qualifications, they will see how experienced you are. On basis of that, few negotiations must be going on. That means that negotiations are always a part of Chinese community. They'll always try and negotiate with you over the salaries because they really don't want to pay something which you are not doing it properly. On behalf of all of this, we can say that Chinese are more dominated towards the qualification, towards the group work, and towards also about the negotiating and everything. We shall now conclude everything about it. We have so many points in conclusion, but before going on to any of those points, I really like to tell you about what my friends so far told you. As we have seen so far that everything was compared to India and China. Even the masculinity, femininity, or if it was a power distance or anything. We have seen that power distance in India is quite low than with China. Because Chinese people are more towards the power distance and they really treat their elders very prosperity and with respect. Masculinity and femininity, we also seen it that both the countries have not so very much difference between them, but they are very good in it. On the base of masculinity and femininity, we can say that both the countries are masculinity because they prefer more towards the male power and male distance. Now we can see about the conclusion. We'll go one by one point. It can be interpreted that the culture of India does differ with that of China. Yes, that is clearly stated. The culture difference between India and China is quite high. They are completely different to each other. This turn leads to development of cross-culture differences amongst the employees who belong to different cultures. We can see that development of cross-cultural differences really affect and matter to the matter of the employees. Employees from different cultures have different ways to act on it. They are unable to come into alignment with each other in relation to their thinking, procedures, behavioral attitudes and working approaches. If we compare about the China and India, we know that they are very, very, very different. They cannot come into alignment or any kind of relationship amongst the group because their procedures, behavioral attitudes and working process are completely different. Too much cross-cultural conflict leads to employees' dissatisfaction. Yes, we can say that so many of dissatisfaction, because of that, it is going to create a dissatisfaction in employees. Hence, people cannot invest their utmost potential, which is in the turn effects of their performances. Yes, that is also true that no one can put their all efforts in it. It also leads to employee turnover. Yes, we can say that finally that employee turnover rate, because of all of this, is quite low. This was our conclusion. These are the references we used. And I would like to say thank you on behalf of my team. Thank you so very much.